Dude, what? I love that though.
A few moments later.
There's a devil fruit that turns you into a jacket. Generic intro to theduckgoesmoo here, back with another One Piece related video. Today we are reacting to a video that's suggested by one of my patrons. It is the top 20 worst devil fruits in One Piece, and this is a 2021 review done by Grand Line Review. It came out 3 months ago, which was literally the beginning, or actually the end of 2021, because we're in 2022 now. So it should be interesting. Apparently there's stuff going on at Toei right now, and like I think they like paused coming out with new episodes of One Piece or something. I'm not really sure. I read every comment, leave some down below. Hopefully by now my episode 1 reaction has gone live. I'm not sure. I'm a terrible YouTuber. I make so many videos and I just don't have time to make other videos, so I apologize for that. And if you are interested in editing a video, send me a message on Discord or email or something like that. I'm gonna make a I actually have a Google Drive made, but I want to make my videos so people can be like, this is what I'm expecting. So just kind of like the idea for that. But thank you so much for being here. If you want to check out my last reaction, which was the ship size comparison, I'll leave it right up there. Also link down below in the description. Also a playlist on my channel with all of my One Piece related videos, and shout out to the patrons. They get videos there early. This video was actually suggested by one. I was like, you know what, that's a great idea. I would like to hear about the top 20 worst devil fruit. So let's go ahead and jump on into it.
Hello and welcome
Also
to the
got
Grand Line Review, your source for
Charlotte
everything
FC.
One Piece. My name is Liam, and today we are here to talk about
Okay.
my second favorite topic in the world, which is also fictional fruit, but this time bad fruit. Naughty fruit.
I haven't
These are
had
the
many fruit.
embarrassing,
And also, he has the same
underbelly
microphone
dwelling
as me.
fruits of the One Piece world that
That's,
they, I don't know who they are, but they would
God.
rather you don't know
Alvida.
about. But after
She's
this
from
video,
episode
for
1.
better or worse, you are indeed
seen it.
going to know about them. And during the course of the video, we will also be giving away this gift to a random subscriber. But at
What is
this
the
point,
gift?
you may
What's in
be
the box?
saying to yourself, look,
much is the box
listen
worth?
here, internet man. There's no such thing as a bad devil fruit, only bad devil fruit users. And you are right. Until
true?
you're not. Because in every group of things, there's always going to be a best, and there is always going to be a worst. And while worst
What
does not
is
necessarily
that?
mean bad, there are more than a few
I mean, the
fruits here
Gum
that
Gum
are flat
duffer
out
isn't
garbage.
that
And to
great.
sort the garbage, I have employed the Grand Fleet as temporary sanitation officers, because I asked over 8,000 of you to rank a list of 100 devil fruits, assigning each of them a score between
Really?
1 to 10, and we are now going to present the top 20
Okay, so he
bad
did it-
ones. And another way
he
of
did
saying
this
that would be the
democratically.
bottom 20, which is important because it means that you can't blame me for anything that happens here today. Everything
That's
that
true.
happens is 100% your fault.
I
Even
do
the
read all the
sponsor of
comments.
Today's video, Bespoke Post, a monthly membership club delivering fantastical boxes of top shelf goods by under the radar brands, and is
That is so
completely free
random.
to join. 90%
Ooh,
of the
that
products
duffel
in the
bag
boxes are
is
sourced
kinda
directly from
nice.
small businesses based in the good old USA,
How
such as
how
the
much is
Forge,
that-
a Damascus
that bag?
steel knife made by Buck and Bear Knives in Pennsylvania.
guns, I
and
don't need
I, quite
knives.
notably, am not in Pennsylvania or anywhere relevant for that matter. So thank crap there's a reliable box goods company that can source these products for me. Every month, Bespoke's members are introduced to new products such as outdoor gear, barware, home and kitchen goods, clothing.
I'm actually kinda
and
interested in
more.
this.
Allegedly, even
Oh,
live
they get the
oysters
jellyfish
sometimes, which,
G-Shock.
if that's your thing, then that's cool.
Look at all
But
that
if
money.
it's not, then good news, because all of the items in your box are based on a preference quiz that you fill out. And nothing
See,
is
I don't
random.
like
You always get to
those.
preview your box
I
before
don't
it's
like
shipped and decide
boxes
whether you
like
wanna
that.
Keep it, maybe swap it for a different box, or even skip
Modern
it
and stylish
entirely
box,
at no
probably some
charge.
from
You
Movement.
only pay for what you want. So to get 20% off your first box, click the link in the
I do kinda
description
like that
and
duffel
enter
bag,
Grand
though.
Line 20 at checkout.
That
But
duffel
for now,
bag's kinda
let's
nice.
examine some horrendous devil fruits. And there's no better example of that than our 20th place finisher, the Auto Autonomy, held by Giola.
Auto
And this
Autonomy.
is a travesty. Because to put this into some perspective,
This is
I
the
actually
20th
had this
word.
fruit as one of my top 20 personal best back in 2020, because its powers are
Okay.
insane. An instant one-hit victory condition against almost anyone by simply transforming them into questionable modern art. But all of you clearly disagree, because
Wait.
it has an average score of 4.7, which I'm going
I
to
guess
put
he's
down
boring.
more to the lackluster user rather than the fruit itself.
Oh.
And I believe we have a similar effect happening with number 19, which is the
Are those actual, like, the
model
ratings?
giraffe. Then again, this whole list kind of functions as a cautionary tale of gambling. One Piece focuses far too often
Yeah.
on the success of playing Devil Fruit Roulette,
Instead
and we
of
don't
the
tend
bad
to linger on the
ones.
people who become
Giraffe.
giraffes. Which isn't to say this fruit is abysmal.
Don't giraffe have
Kaku
black
did
tongues?
find some ridiculously creative things to do with it, but that was because he was a genius-level martial arts master assassin. Whereas if you give this fruit to, say, Steve from accounting, the abilities of a giraffe aren't going to help him crunch those numbers any faster.
Are you
they, Steve?
sure?
Then again, nothing can help Steve, because he's kind of hopeless like that. I still think this fruit has a lot of potential, but honestly, I would
Giraffe.
prefer almost any other Zoan. Almost. But for some
What's-
questionable
what's be
Paramecias, we
worse?
need look no further than 18th place, which is
Beta
Trevor's
Beta
Baku. And I just want to be clear, this
Beta
is
Beta?
not technically a bad fruit. It's just disgusting as crap. On paper,
Why?
it's
What does he do?
fantastic. All generator style
Is it
Paramecias
snot?
are brilliant by nature, whether it's candy, wax, poison, or almost anything else. However, the reason why I need to use the word almost is because of this horrific
Is it
mucus
snot?
fruit. It will give you some pretty awesome
Oh.
power, but you have to ask yourself, do you want to be known as the mucus dude? I would probably rather
No.
have a technically worse,
I'm
yet more
germophobic,
socially
no.
acceptable fruit, which I think is literally every other fruit. And that's why the Baku
This will probably be one of my last One Piece related YouTube
Next up, we have
videos,
something that kind of
other
shocked
than
me.
the reaction.
Because in 17th
Not sure.
position is the Baku Bellamy Springtime Fun
I would've
Fruit,
said
which
Bang
was
Bang.
originally called the Boing Boing fruit in the Viz manga translation, before they realized
Why?
the Urban Dictionary definition
Boing
of Boing Boing. Although to be fair, I'd be pretty
Really?
curious if
Urban
Bellamy
Dictionary?
loved that fruit as well. The reason why I think this fruit lands here though is because Bellamy, well, he is a bit of a one-trick slinky. He doesn't adequately
Slinky.
display the true potential of a spring human because you can jump high, like really high.
Wait, is
which
that actually
automatically
what
makes
it
this
is?
fruit
Oh,
better than the
I guess
large
it's like just
majority on
springs.
this list, to be honest. But there, you, the Grand Fleet, have spoken. And something else
The
they've said
Grand Fleet.
is the next fruit, which is Hina's Auto Autonomy in 16th place. And this one I can
Ooh,
understand
what?
because it is quite powerful, but only under very specific conditions. Those
Like
conditions
what?
being hunting and capturing small-scale criminals. The big problem with this fruit
Oh.
is that it creates iron shackles, nothing more and nothing less, which means that the fruit will likely
Why?
be entirely useless against higher tier opponents. So it's hardly a life-changing fruit, it's good for dealing with petty crime, and that's about it. To be fair though, in our non-fictional reality, this fruit would be far more useful
Pretty sure
than
it's a
the
map
One
from
Piece
Modern
world,
Warfare
but
3
it is
or
certainly
2.
still one of the
2.
more underwhelming
Huh?
of magical fruits. As is number
Very.
15 being the Hitohitnomi model Jackal used by Chaka, which is a fruit that
What's
I think
wrong with the
suffers from
Jackal?
basic Zoan syndrome. The early Zoans in One Piece weren't wildly impressive, and
They're
being
just
able to turn
animals.
into a cute doggy, because omnivorous or not, that is what jackals are. They are cute. You cannot look at this picture and tell me otherwise. But cute is
Oh,
never
jackals
going
are
to
real
stack
animals.
up
I thought
well
they were
against
like
being able
a
to
ancient
transform into
Egyptian
a
thing.
big fat ancient chonkosaur. And this is also a case where the fruit itself might not be too bad. I'm sure that jackals can do all sorts of awesome things. It's just that nobody cares because we'd all rather do other things like squeeze juice out of giraffes. Which definitely makes me wonder what would
Giraffe
happen
juice?
if Smoothie ever met Kaku. Would she see his giraffe form, lick her lips and go, mmm, tasty giraffe juice? In any case, a fruit that people don't like as much as jackal powers would be our 14th place. The Hitohitnomi,
Which is-
held by Mark Weiss, a man who is just as wide as he is tall and just as
Oh,
thick in the head
so he's
as
round.
he is in the stomach. And this fruit, along with its partner, the
So he's just
Hitohitnomi,
big.
are genuinely the most boring in the entire series.
So he's
they
just
do
big.
one thing,
Okay.
just one, and have no real room for versatility, as shown by the fact that we've had two fruits with essentially the exact same power, and both users ended up doing the exact same thing, nothing more,
What?
nothing less. Because there is
Oh.
nothing else to do. You float up and then you crash. It's
Wait,
the
they
devil
also
fruit
let them
equivalent to
float?
playing Kirby in Smash
Kirby.
and only using down B. Down B is all
Love
the
Kirby.
Ton fruit can do, and I'm actually surprised that it's not higher up on this worst list. But one of those higher up spots has been reserved for the Auto Autonomy, a painfully specific devil
4.1
fruit used
rating?
by beloved
Or
One Piece
average?
Bunglenut Van der Decken the Ninth.
Maybe.
This fruit has such little use beyond the idea of hitting people with stuff. The idea is that you touch someone, probably
web fingers.
non-consensually, which imprints a target, and then you can chuck stuff from wherever in the world you are, and it'll eventually hit the person that you non-consensually touched. And that's
Dude,
pretty
what?
much it. And I suppose it's not entirely
love
without
that, though.
potential, but it's difficult because the best use I could see for a fruit like this is just moving heavy things. Like if I had to move
It's like-
house, it would be great to just throw all of my
It's
furniture
like-
and have it land there, except it would have to land on someone and likely severely injure, if not kill them in the process.
Well,
But
maybe
at
they
the very
can be made
least,
out
it
of
is
rubber.
great for terrorizing 6-year-old mermaid princesses that you want to marry because you are a creepy fish dude. Under
Your
those
chances of being killed by a
circumstances,
cow are
this
low,
fruit
but they're
is
never
a must
zero.
have. Now, in a shocking turn of events, 12th place sees the Baku used by Buffalo. And I say
What are
shocking
those
because
teeth?
this fruit literally allows you to fly, which on its own should be enough to keep it off a list like this, especially
Yeah,
in the One
but
Piece world, where it directly circumvents the
it's
greatest
water.
enemy of magical fruit numbers
Water.
being lots and lots of water.
And the
But
world is
fruit
mostly
used by
water.
Buffalo, and Buffalo looks weird. So that's probably reason enough to downvote it. In 11th place, though, though, we have a fruit that most people forget even exists.
Democracy.
Which is the Kamikaminnomi used by Pecoms. And people forget it exists because we only saw Pecoms use it that one time, and even then we didn't get a clear look at it. But this lion can allegedly transform into a turtle and a turtle-lion hybrid, which probably packs a lot of potential. We don't know though, because it's never really brought up again. I mean, it sort of is. It's the reason why Pecom survived being shot by Capone Gang Beige on 2 occasions, but it's hard to judge something that we've never really seen in action, so fair enough that the turtle fruit ends up here. But now, let's open a present. Because for every video during this holiday month, we will be giving away a delightful One Piece based gift to a random subscriber. And today,
did we already see the thing in the background? Because he showed a little clip.
A magnificent Buggy the Clown figure. This is actually one of my favorite figures because Buggy looks so cool and dynamic. It is a must-have for you, the person
Those things aren't
so if
cheap,
you'd like
I don't
to win
think.
this resin clown, then you just need to do 2 things, one of which is subscribe to the channel, and the other is leave a comment answering the following question. What is the worst tasting devil fruit and why?
The mucus one, probably.
The winner will be announced in our community
I
section,
do read
so
every
go ahead,
comment
do
though, and
the
I
thing
respond to a
and
lot of
win
them
the
as
clown.
well.
But now let's showcase our top
Also, I'm
10
going to react to One Piece
disappointments,
on a
which
channel.
will
It's called The
commence
Duck Goes
with
Arg.
soap.
Should be linked
The
down
Auto
below.
Autonomy takes the number 10 spot. Califa's soap-generating Paramecia, which honestly, I would much rather have than Treble's fruit, but statistically speaking, more Grand Fleet members would prefer to be coated in mucus than soap. And that's a decision that I guess I'm just going to have to respect.
I'd rather be covered in
I do legitimately think that this fruit is a lot better than its rating here, because you can sap people of their strength by making them nice and shiny, but it does have a very basic weakness being literally any kind of water, which in the One Piece world, water is fairly common. So slipping into the DMs of number 9 is the Hitohitnomi, which Viz originally called the horny fruit, before realizing that that also had an Urban Dictionary meaning. That's not true, by the way, they didn't call it that, but they should have. But spikes are pretty cool, and there's a lot to be said for the ability to turn yourself into a giant
Are hedgehogs really that?
Not
Why isn't
quite
it
enough
porcupine?
to be said, though. I mean, if you were asked to write an essay on the matter, it would pretty much consist of a sea urchin, and that's about it. It's pretty great for combat and demolition by hand, but it's far from the greatest combat fruit, and demolition by hand is kind of lame.
There's like
and we
a
have
fun
all
fact
sorts
about
of
sea
machines
urchins.
to do that for us. Speaking of machines, our next fruit actually turns our user
Like what they were called
into a
before.
machine, and that would be the Baku Bakunomi, which was eaten by Walpole, much like everything else was, because it's Walpole, and that's the gimmick of this fruit. It allows its user to eat anything, literally anything, and incorporate it into their body, or even produce a new object,
like Kirby,
or living being from the Baku Baku factory. In theory, it is an insanely powerful fruit full of potential, but it comes with one massive, crippling drawback, which is that it curses the user with being perpetually hungry. The Baku Baku wielder will never be satisfied and will have to keep on eating essentially 24/7 for the rest of their lives. And furthermore, the objects they've eaten can only be stored for a limited time, much like real humans, because we need to get rid of them at some point. So you'll have access to amazing power, but at the cost of being cursed with a fairly miserable existence. There's even an argument to be made that this could be considered the worst fruit in the series because it has the most horrific drawbacks. But at the very least, it does grant great abilities in exchange, so look, maybe it's your thing. But then again, probably not, because it's number 8 on this list. And great abilities is what our 7th place is not. It is the Kilo-Kilo-Nomi used by Miss Valentine. And much like its Tonton partner, it is a big chum bucket of meth, except even lower quality meth than usual, because it is just a nerfed version of the Tonton fruit. It potentially deserves to be much lower, really, but the saving grace of the fruit is that it's pretty useful, if only for the ability to float, which is delightful. And delightful is also how I describe the unfortunately 6th place fruit, the Fukufukunomi. This is Kinemon's clothing creation power, and it's an example of a fruit that probably wouldn't even be on this list if it were not for one gigantic drawback, being that the created clothes vanish from existence once removed from the body. Without that, this fruit is kind of amazing. But with that, this fruit is kind of not. It's too temporary to have any long-term benefits, like say starting a clothing business, too underpowered to be particularly useful in combat, and it really only functions well in an emergency survival situation. That, or if you wanted to dress up as a flamingo, that
I guess they just did it for DeviantArt.
Entering the top 5 now, and we immediately find ourselves with a straw hat. Tony Chopper's Hitohitnomi has found its way into being labeled the
Is that the
fifth
human?
worst devil fruit in the series, and for potentially very good reason. Or even reasons, plural. Traditionally, I've labeled this as my #1 pick for the worst devil fruit because there is the potential that after eating it, nothing happens whatsoever.
Because it's a human, but you get all the downsides.
With Chopper, he has all sorts of great effects because he was a reindeer, so he gets to mix that reindeer DNA with human DNA. But mixing human DNA with human DNA is essentially what your parents did.
And I watched another video and they want people to swim.
You, I must stress, are already you. And is just continuing to be
and you get
yourself
a downside.
worth losing the ability to swim? Because right now I am both myself and I can swim. ¿Por qué no los dos? And sure, it could have positive effects like allowing you to transform into a more ideal human form, you know, muscular, six-pack, athletic, all of that sort of stuff. But the one thing it will not do is give you enlightenment. That is a very common myth that always needs busting whenever this fruit comes up. So it's likely a useless fruit for people like you.
Wait, is he sitting down on a toaster? Or is that a printer? It might be a 3D printer.
4 mighty fruits left that have been deemed even worse than useless, and the Grand Fleet have named Baku as our 4th place finisher. Alvida's devil fruit that makes her ultra slippery.
Oh, Alvida's?
The fruit which I used to quite profoundly dislike, but I've come around to in recent times, mostly due to the realization that Alvida has to be able to control her degree of slipperiness due to being able to hold her club. And the really weird thing about this fruit is that it makes
I didn't know that. I guess that is kind of a spoiler.
You become too slippery for bullets to penetrate you or for swords to strike you or anything non-hockey related to hurt you at all. This fruit is retrospectively overpowered, but you would never know it from watching Alvida, which is why I suppose we find it here. To the bronze medal now, though, we have a truly awful devil fruit. The Hitohitnomi model dachshund. Because of all of the dogs
whatever #1 is, it is like the worst.
Is probably not one of them. By transforming into a Daki or even a
like a dash
hybrid, you are immediately putting yourself at risk of developing serious back problems for no real benefit. Because the only thing that dachshunds are good at are hunting burrowed creatures and dressing up like hot dogs. Still, even that is probably better than our 2nd place finisher, the Auto Autonomy model axolotl. Mostly because this is a devil fruit that if you ate, you would never be able to use. Axolotls are exclusively aquatic creatures,
friend had an
which
axolotl
is very
that
awkward
barked
in the land of devil fruits, because due to that, a person would never be able to use their powers on land, nor would they be able to use them in water because they would immediately drown, meaning that you cannot use your abilities anywhere, and if you do, you will
You would think they would be like, you can't have this.
And death is one of those things that I would describe as not good. Highly undesirable, even. However, there is still one fruit that the Grand Fleet have deemed as being a fate worse than death. The Jackal. This received by far the lowest average score, with most people not loving the idea of turning into an immobile jacket. And it's tricky because it is the only devil fruit that is dependent on another person using the user. If nobody wants to wear you, then this fruit is useless. But hey, at least you won't die from using it, unlike the actual fruit. Unless it's dying from embarrassment, because all you can do is become a jacket, so people are going to point and laugh at you and go, haha, you're a jacket. But whatever the case, Kelly Funk's crime against fashion has been deemed the worst devil fruit in One Piece. But to check out the best, here's the video you're after, because there's always more to learn, explore, and experience with this wonderful series, so I look forward to seeing you there.
That's what? Dude, there's a devil fruit that turns you into a jacket. There's one that turns you to an axolotl, but you still can't swim. What? That is... There were so many bad ones. So many bad ones. Some were, you know, not the worst. Like, there were some things on there I don't think maybe... Like, the human one, I mean... Yeah, but what if you, like, gave that to, like, a gorilla or something? Like, you know, then you have Planet of the Apes, kind of, right? You know? Or, wait, are there gorillas in One Piece? I would imagine it would be gorillas in One Piece. Wait, where would they live? I'm not really sure. I'm sure there's gorillas. Are there gorillas in One Piece? I don't know. Let me know. I read every comment. I hope you're subscribed as well. And definitely go check out theduckgoesmoo for whenever the episode 1 reaction come out. And I'm probably going to upload on this channel for a little bit, but it's also going to go up on that channel as well. And if you are interested in potentially being my editor, I have a couple people that are really interested in it. The person that does my picture-in-picture for my anime series, he wants to do it, Lightning, because Lightning, you are absolutely goated. So we'll see what we can do. Maybe we could have a team of people. I'm not really sure. I'm going to need patrons for that. There's going to be a role on my Patreon specific for One Piece. So don't go join my Patreon to do that now, although we'll help it get it started, because at the beginning we won't have as many patrons. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you back for the next one, or maybe check out some of my previous videos. They're all on a playlist on my channel. But until next video, take care and cue the music.
We were playing